Hi, guys. Welcome to Once in a Wild, where every once in a while we have meaningful conversations with meaningful people. Don't forget to like and subscribe below. Today we are talking with Loxbox Studio, named Renee. And like I was saying, is that we are such good friends, but we have actually never spoken like on the phone.
Yeah.
We've never FaceTimed. This is like a first, which is crazy because I feel like I know you so well. So
Yeah.
I love
Yeah, I
that
feel like
like anyone
yeah.
listening gets to see that happen because yeah, that's nuts.
It's weird. It's on a weird level at this point because it's probably been years.
I'm just so excited to be able to chat and have a cup of tea and set time aside because we both get so busy. Everyone does. I'm
Yeah.
like the busiest freaking person I know. And so when I make time, it just feels good to me. So I'm really excited about making time. And
Mm.
I just love your content. I love everything that you do. I have a running joke with Ryan because I get bogged down in social media sometimes, as we all do, or it wears
Yeah.
me out. And
Yeah.
I always, whenever I come across your stuff, I have a joke with Ryan that I say, we must protect Renee at all costs. Because I'm like, you're just like this little golden quarter of the internet that I'm like, no, I'm very protective over you. Just so we have a running joke in our house that like, we must
Yeah, I
protect
love
Renee at all
that.
costs. So
A little piece of innocence that's
yes,
over there. Because
please keep it
I'm
that
not
way.
like I'm not like a scroller. Like I'm not really on the internet like a lot. And like I try to support my friends and see what people are up to. But honestly, like I just live my life and I post stuff and hopefully that comes through.
It's such a
Because
beautiful thing. It does. It
yeah,
does come through.
oh,
And then
you're
I feel
sweet.
like when you do show
Oh,
up and you do post, like it's really intentional and really potent. And
yeah.
not to get off on a freight train, but I'm a nerd about like social media and stuff. And my motto right now, especially for 2026, is like reality is trending. Like being
No
off the
kidding.
apps is trending. And there's just something
Yeah.
about that.
I think it's hard because we're told to be a certain way and to be constantly posting or following trends, and it just that's never spoken to me. Like I just want to make weird art shit
I
and
love that.
like mix like bee videos in with my hair stuff. I want to make a little music video and because that's what's fun for me.
But
Like
what's
I'd rather do
cool, at
that.
least with Instagram, is that they are rewarding that right now. Original content that is different
There,
is
yeah.
being rewarded. And that's new because
Mm.
2024 and 2025 was all like consistency,
Trends.
constantly
Yeah.
posting. Yeah, what are the trends? What are you hopping on? And now it's not that. They've
Mm.
completely switched up the game. Advice that somebody would have asked me 2024 or 2025 about social media, I would have given that message of consistency and overwhelming the algorithms and things like that. And now I would say post with your heart, let your heart be your compass, let
Mm.
authenticity be your compass. But another thing about that is like everyone works differently. I'm just
Yeah.
nerding out with you about this because we never get to talk about this
Mm.
stuff. But like you were saying, like I
Yeah.
just want to make weird shit and like post when I want to post. And that just rings so true for me right
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
because I think process is important. Like you're someone that's never been drawn to it. Whereas I think
Yeah.
some like artists, like showing their work is an important part of their process. I know it is for me, it's a big
Mm.
motivator. And I always
Yeah.
think of it like if you take a creative and you drop them on an island, right? Will they still create? And there are some that
Mm.
will, and there are some that won't.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
if,
when there's not like money involved, I think sometimes people don't, to be honest.
and for me, audience is an integral part of my process. I know
Mm.
for me,
Yeah.
once I started to think about that, I was like, I know if you dropped me on an island, I would probably not create anything, which is very
Mm.
interesting
Oh,
because the audience and
yeah.
that interaction is integral to my process. Whereas I have friends that are creatives that they will do the same oil painting in their studio for 10 years
Mm.
and never show a soul. And they are
Yeah.
totally happy. So I don't think it's about needing to be seen as much as it's is some
Mm.
sort of interaction that's part of each person's makeup. So I think it's cool for you to
Mm.
say that you're not drawn to it that much, which is cool.
Yeah. No, not at all. And I think a part of that too is growing up with MTV and stuff and like wanting to make like music videos. I thought that was so cool. And that's okay. Instagram has given me a chance to do that kind of a little
Yeah,
bit. That's not going to be like, nobody makes music videos anymore.
I know, but
But
bring
it's
it
like,
back.
okay, but we get a little tidbit of that.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm seeing a lot of creators using, again, I'm such a nerd about just like social media and like big rhythms of human behavior really fascinate me.
mm,
I'm seeing a lot of people using their own music and people are like becoming like mini filmmakers. And I feel like the
mm,
approach 26 and 27, mark my words, is like more of a storyteller like approach.
mm.
And I really like that,
Okay.
like deeper, more authentic, like storytelling. I think is the
Yeah.
anchor right now. And so I think peeps like you that aren't nuts about algorithm feeding that monster, I
Yeah.
think y'all are gonna just take off. I
I
think
think I'm
paying for
there.
social media stuff is an underrated tool. I think like I'll see people
Yeah.
come on platforms and they'll complain about the platform. I'm like, dude, you've been getting this for free for years. Like
Yeah.
back in the day, you had
Yeah.
to pay
Yeah.
a television channel, you had to pay a newspaper or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, dumping a little bit of money in it isn't always a bad idea.
Every once in a while, I do look at like empty billboards and I'm like, I wonder how
I've
much that
thought about
billboard
it.
is.
I've
Like,
thought about it.
I could just make a really unhinged billboard and just make something ridiculous and feral out there. And
Oh.
I think people be into it. I didn't start social media until I knew that I was leaving California, actually, was
That's
when I
interesting.
started my social media.
Okay, that makes a
Like
lot
if
of
you
sense because when I'm prepping for these, I'm always looking, I'm like getting in a time machine and like going backwards, scroll to see like
Mhm.
interesting things I didn't pick up on. And I was like, this is very interesting. So that makes a lot of sense. So you launched your
Mm,
stuff when you were like, oh, snap, I'm leaving. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
When I was thinking about it, I think it was maybe like 2018 or 19 maybe that I was like really still in Sacramento. It was before COVID and I just was really not content with my life there and I needed to make a change. I needed to find home. And I was like, I'm going to have to regrow my client base and I need to
Wow.
start now. And that's when I started documenting my clients
Okay.
that
And you were
were
like, I
like long
need my
term.
portfolio to show so that
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
carry that forward. I got you.
Yeah. And show my work and stuff. So so it was definitely out of my comfort zone putting myself out there in that way. And like 'cause in the barber kind of industry, I felt like people were like really competitive with each other. And I just didn't want to get that kind of energy back at me. I felt like, okay, I need to just not even worry about it. I was not a part of like social circles at all. I didn't know
Mm,
any locticians. Like I just was
wow.
putting myself out there. And
That's
I think
amazing.
it took, maybe it was like 2020 or 2019, maybe is when I first talked to a loctician ever. So
That's
yeah,
crazy. Okay,
it's
so
like,
back me up. Okay, so
mm,
take us a little time machine real quick. Take me back to California time.
yeah,
How'd you get there? You were born there, right?
I was born
You were
there.
born
Yeah.
there. Okay, so take
Mm.
me in a time machine back to California, how you got into that, and then where you work
Oh,
now. Like, what's that
yeah.
arc look
Well,
like?
that's far. So that arc is
Yeah.
wild. My first head that I locked, I was in high school and I had friends that were like train hoppers and just we go to Burning Man together and it was like very like nomadic, kind of wild, free-spirited times, like hitchhiking and the whole bit.
Nice.
And yeah, so that was my first people that I worked on, but I wasn't taking hair very seriously back then. So around like when I turned 18, I went to cosmetology school.
So
Yeah,
you went to Cosmo
very much
School,
so.
then you dropped into
Mm.
barbering, right?
Yeah,
And then you
so I
brought in the locks.
started. I did a crossover. Yeah, so I did the crossover a couple years after cosmetology. But during all this, I was still like, I'd have maybe one lock client a day or maybe two. So I'd be cutting hair all day, and then I'd go to somebody's house to do work on their locks.
Okay.
Or I would convince my boss to let me bring in like a client into the shop, but not always. Like maybe a couple people a week or something.
That's
Like
interesting.
just they didn't understand like what I was doing, and it was just the era. Like I think this was so I got licensed in like 2005. So around 2007 or 8, I started bringing people into the shop and was like, "Hey, this is a thing that I do. I'm tired of working at home. Like we should try to work something out." But I was making like a commission at the time. I think it was like 50-50 or something like that. So that pay structure doesn't work with doing this kind of hair.
It's not
It's
gonna
like,
work for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, this is my first time being independent. So moving here was my first time being like, okay, I think I had been doing this for 16 years
I
by the
know.
time that I moved to Asheville.
Yeah.
And
I would never do a lot of the things that I used to be doing. Like most of my clients in like 2011 and 12 were like definitely
yeah.
sitting between my legs,
Oh, yeah.
like with
Yeah, yeah,
my
totally.
baby.
It's very like intimate. Like really like those early stages, like I was not like in 2000 like 5 and 6, like I wasn't charging people. Like I was all
Oh
my
my gosh, I
friends
know,
and like
right?
it was like yeah, we were like there I'm like on a couch, they're on the floor, or like I'm sitting on the back of their couch and I'm like, my hip is like leaning against my friend. Like it's very intimate.
Yes.
And it's like, how do I charge money for that?
And then
Like
I
that's
remember
wild.
having a moment of charging someone a decent amount for what I was doing because my
Yeah.
skill set was up at that point. And I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
swinging my leg over his head. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, we can't do this anymore. And that was the last time I ever did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Oh, how funny. What a moment.
Isn't that hilarious? I was like,
Yeah. But I think the thing is like things stuff changes. It evolves as it needs to,
it's
you
just
know, and
normal.
like yeah. And it's like going from the place where it's I used to be fine, like with whatever environment I was working in, and it was like very intimate thing and a very almost like spiritual thing.
Yeah.
And it's and I wanted to be like in the dirt or in front of the fire
in
or
a
like at the
tent.
ocean. Yeah, in a tent, like somewhere something that was like very grounded.
Before
Yeah.
I forget,
Yeah.
tell everyone where you are located now and what services you're offering because we got so
Oh.
tickled that I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So I'm in Asheville, North Carolina, and I offer mostly what I do is maintenance, but I do offer extension services and starting locks, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Do you still
Yeah.
mix in any of your barbering or hair work?
Sometimes, yeah, yeah, I do that as well. So I do sometimes do some fades, and I don't do any more color, but I love doing like framing, like bangs, of course, and like little detail work around people's faces is really fun for me.
So in Asheville, you're in a salon suite setup. Is yours private or is it like a chain or?
Yeah, so I'm in a solo salon, so
Okay.
I am working towards doing that eventually. I dream of working at my house.
I'll do a happy dance when you do. I think that's
Yeah.
great. Just because I know that
Yeah,
you'll curate such a wonderful space and vibe, particularly for you. So I think that'll be cool when you're ready to do that. And then also, I'm forgetting, you just got married. Congratulations. That's so exciting.
Yeah, Mrs. Cook now.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's crazy.
yeah, I
Wow.
found my person out here.
Wow.
We met off Tinder.
Yes, Tinder. I was about to ask that. How'd you guys meet? But
Yeah, Tinder.
She just came right out with it. Tinder.
You went
No
first
shame.
Tinder date in Asheville.
Stop it. Your first one? That's so freaking cute.
I didn't have to date around Asheville at all.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
For anyone who's listening who did not check out your wedding pictures, please go to her profile. Pause this podcast, please, and go to her Instagram and look at her wedding photos because I literally sobbed like a child when I saw them. How did you guys choose your spot? What's the story on the spot you chose to get married?
So Thomas wanted to get married outside. I said, okay, it's outside. We have to go to California and this bluff, like that particular bluff.
Where you were going to go.
Yeah. Yeah. That place has always felt special to me. Like we wanted to be near like my family's home. So it's down like a trail. That trail and that spot have been in my life a long time.
No,
so
this is really significant.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's fantastic.
Like I knew exactly where it would be if it was going to be outside.
And you guys followed that up by going to Japan, correct?
Yeah. So we went straight from the next day, drove to San Francisco, got on a plane to Japan, like the next evening. So
wow.
Yeah. It was great. It was our first time out of the country together because usually I'm traveling solo and usually he's traveling solo. So like coming together and being like both pretty well versed with travel. Yeah. It went really well.
That's good.
It's cool.
Because it can go unwell.
Yeah.
People travel
I was really surprised. Yeah, no kidding. I was really surprised at his like ability to like adapt. And he was like very cool with all the weird foods and all the things. There was stuff that he was eating that I'm like, I'll eat it, but I'm not going to enjoy it. There was some stuff that's like Japan gets slimy real fast. There's slime food sometimes.
I will try everything once, but I can tell you right now, I would really struggle in any Asian country. I would do better in South Asian countries for sure because I was raised on South Asian food. But
oh, really?
Yeah, all of my foster and host siblings growing up were either South American or South Asian. And
cool, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but if you Japan or China, I'm probably not going to hack it with the food so good.
Yeah, it was
a lot of jellies. There's a lot of gelatin things and flavors.
Like weird texture things that I'm like, you know what? I'm usually pretty adventurous, but like Thomas he'll go to Mexico and eat bugs. That's his he does crazy things. But I'm like, okay, that's a little bit beyond me. But it was really nice just to travel with a person, be able to put down my phone, not have to like deal with like always being the one with the map, always being the one with the translation apps up.
I
It
was
was nice
hanging
to
off
just
of every
relax.
single photo though, because you do such a good job at capturing. And I was like, every day I was like, what
Oh.
did they see today? You know what I mean? So I was so tickled
Yeah,
for
it's the
that.
only time that I'm really active on social media is if I'm doing something interesting. It's, oh, I'm going to bring my friends along with me.
How
Yeah.
is your community recovering from the flooding? Where are you guys at
Oh,
now?
man. Yeah. So, I mean, there still is stuff that's happening. People talk about the infrastructure being really vulnerable, but
Mm.
visually, for like tourists that are coming by, everything is like open and new things are opening. And for the places that people that are not from town would people typically go to, like yeah, it looks like totally normal
So you
now.
guys have
But
recovered and gotten back on your feet and put yourself back together. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, I would say overall the town, yes. But I am starting to see people like coming back into town that have left.
How do you
So
feel like the flooding, do you feel like it affected your business directly?
yeah, I would say maybe 20% of my clients left town.
Wow.
Yeah, about that,
Just because they
and
knew what was
like,
coming or had destruction or
yeah, destruction, like their job being closed, their house being destroyed, like land being destroyed, super traumatized or not feeling like close to this community anymore. Like it's like there's this like veil that was lifted from all of us that, and when that lifted for me, I was like, okay, I can either choose to like root and be here and like really like the roots are really deep, or I can choose to leave. And me and Thomas had a conversation and we're like, you know what? I think we're going to root down. We're staying with it.
that's
And it was like
cool.
really powerful talking to him
Mm.
about that.
I think that's really
Like,
cool. We would never wish that type of natural disaster on any place, but it really can make you zoom
yeah,
out and ask yourself that question.
yeah. And every place has its things. And this was a thing and it's going to change the economy in the area. But I am seeing it bounce back a little bit. It's
Okay.
going to be slow, but
Interesting.
I'm with it.
How'd
It's,
you decide to go to where you're at now?
So I came out here to get tattooed by a friend that I knew from California, and she moved out here with her family. And I was like, man, why are they moving all the way out there? And like, it's people that I like feel like I creatively connect with. I feel like there's a couple people here like that. And I had two other friends come here around the same couple years, like couple year time. So I think it was like maybe 2020 that I started visiting here.
Mm.
It took me until 2022 to move. So
Okay.
a couple years of visiting and seeing if I'm ready. And then I just had to make a leap at some
I
point.
remember
But
talking to you during that time and I was like, what are you doing?
yeah, yeah, traveling a lot and figuring it out. So I moved here with like really not knowing anybody and only visiting here for a little while. But
I remember you
yeah.
saying that. You were like, I don't know anyone. I don't know what is going on. And I was like, that's bold. That's super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Left like what, 15 years of clients? Like, jeez.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I
Like,
love that.
full.
And no regrets. Look at you now.
Yeah. Found like my husband within 3 months of being here. It's wow, that's
You're a lucky
quick.
ducky.
I
That's very
know.
lucky. So
Yeah,
when
like,
you look back
wow.
on that, and I love like a fuck it moment in life. I love a moment when somebody's, I'm just gonna
It's
do this
basically
thing.
that.
I just love that's like my favorite like little human behavior. And here's why is because when you look back in hindsight now, are you like, okay, divine hand, or are you like dumb luck? You know what I'm saying? Future self telling me what to
Yeah.
do, or
Yeah. A little bit of both. I think you have to be a little bit stupid to make a leap like that, to be honest. And I am just enough dumb to be able to do this kind of
but
stuff.
that doesn't make you wonder, is it just stupid dumb luck, or is it like some elevated intelligence that
Yeah,
has written
yeah,
my
yeah.
path before me? You see what I'm saying? I don't
Yeah, yeah, I
know.
see what
I
you're
don't
saying.
know.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. Because I did feel a soul connection here that I felt this pull and that was looking for. And it was clear that like a feeling of, oh, this is it. This is what I've been looking
Interesting.
for. That was like did not have to do with any particular person. And I was creating the environment that I had envisioned. So it was like, okay, anything that's really tethering me here, I've created for myself.
Yeah,
I
I like
mean,
that. That's cool.
this place is special.
So one of the things about the industry I've definitely noticed, something about the nicheness and the youngness, like you touched on, of our industry is that it is, let me see if I can get this right, like small pond, big fish. versus I feel like cosmetology and hair work in general, it's like big pond,
Huge
lots of fish.
ocean.
Right. And
Yeah.
so, me, number one, I'll be the first to say that having that overwhelm me from going from a little hippie kid at festivals that was like, "Hey, I can do this," to being overwhelmed
Yeah.
with a niche industry, I got real skewed perspective of like, how big is this pond? How big are the other fish? Are there others coming?
Yeah.
And so that was really hard for me to navigate. And I know that I did that real poorly in the beginning for sure. And I know a lot more now. So I really appreciate your
Mm.
perspective being in that big pond. And then also, like you said earlier, viewing
Mm.
it's all hair work and not
Yeah.
having that kind of
Yeah.
binary in mind, giving you a different perspective.
A little bit. Yeah. Yeah. But it's really valid that this could be something that could be hard to find a perspective on if you're, yeah, not really sure if you're in a big pond or a small pond. It's like you have no viewpoint of what that it actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's challenging and can be really like hurtful, especially because of where like people are coming from. I know
Mhm.
all locticians work really
Yeah.
hard, like all hairstylists work really hard. And I would say most that I've met, that I've talked to, are not driven by money. Most of them are driven by passion and love for people. And it's the people that are been doing this a long time that it means a lot to them. So it hurts when things go down because you put so much of yourself into
Yeah,
this.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But also on the flip side, what a bizarre expectation to have that nothing will ever go wrong. Like,
Yeah.
that's like, when I think about that objectively, what a crazy standard to set for yourself,
Mm.
that you'll be perfect all the time and nothing will ever go wrong and
Yeah.
no one will ever
And
disagree
how
with
you
you.
move matters. Like how you move, like it signals to your potential clients in the future. To me, that's what matters. People know that I'm a little bit squishy, and yeah, people can hurt my feelings super easily. And
No
I'm
worries.
fine admitting to that because I navigate like hard situations in a really particular way to
Good.
protect myself from that. And at the end of the day, what matters is my clients, and more than half of them are from Google anyway. So I like taking that power away from social media, to be
I
honest.
love
So
that and not opening yourself up to it. I really feel like I'm more that way now than I used to be for sure
cool.
because
Yeah, I could see
I don't
that.
think people know that I'm that squishy too. I don't know.
You are.
I
No,
sound
you are.
so like
Yeah.
I don't think
No,
people realize
it's
that, and I feel like I really literally need to get a tattoo right here. That's I seem confident, but she's very sensitive and breakable. Please be careful. You know what I mean? If I could just
yeah.
get that tattooed on my
Yeah.
face. Oh
Oh,
man. So
yeah.
I've withdrawn a lot too,
The
but
thing is,
still.
I've always been withdrawn. I've never needed the crowd, but that
Mm,
I've never needed that at
that's
all.
really
Like
great.
that, it's really literally, I wouldn't have even ever put my work out there if I wasn't planning on moving to Asheville.
Or if you
If
didn't
I
like
was
it
just
was
gonna stay,
necessary to your industry. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I would never have done
That
it.
is so
No.
fascinating to me. I will say sometimes I feel like sad for the world because you're such a creative and like person with such great
Oh,
depth that I'm always like, I wish more people knew more about what Renee is doing. I'm like, "Well, she's doing something cool in her house right now, and nobody knows
I'm
about it,
sneaky about it. I'm
and
sneaky.
nobody even knows." So I admire the mystery a little bit. So keep it
Yeah,
going. On this same
yeah.
vein, like, how do you feel like the lock industry has changed you as a person? Do you feel like, because you said you've kind of not you've taken that power away from social media. Do you still feel that
Yeah.
this section of the industry has changed you personally at all?
I honestly think taking it away from social media entirely, I think the mechanics of doing this type of work is more what changed me. If I look at it from a long-term perspective, because you're dealing with a lot of different types of people and all their stories, and I think that has affected me more long term
Absolutely.
of the actual connection and the mechanics of the actual work.
Yeah.
um, that the I wouldn't say wear and tear on my body, that's one thing, I can handle that. It's more about the emotional toll that it takes
Mm,
to connect in that way with people. I think that it's affected me in a good way, or more in the sense of, say somebody's having like a hard day, or they're like talking
okay.
like maybe they've experienced something really heavy. I think I dive deeper into that now
Mm,
in a caretaking kind of way
okay.
versus not. I'd say like my voice as like a person and my opinions on the world and whatever, that's always been bold.
Nice.
And maybe not online, but it's bold in
Right.
person.
Where it matters, where it matters.
Yeah, where it matters.
I
Yeah.
feel so much hope on the internet right now because I feel like it's a snowball effect where people in the hair world are putting down a line and like I'm seeing it pick up a lot and I'm just
Yeah.
like it's so cool.
Yeah, I've definitely been seeing that lately too, and I'm like, "Oh gosh," like, I feel compelled. I'm like, "How do I move with this?" I've
It's
been
tough.
really thinking about, yeah, what actually speaks to me? Because I never wanna follow a path, I always wanna think for
Mm.
myself, but when I really look at it, I'm like, it is like a moment of people drawing a line in the
There's a
sand.
little
It's that
revolution
moment
happening in the hair industry
it's
right now.
right now.
And then you know
Yeah,
what
it's
I
right
thought today? This
now.
is gonna sound really crass. I thought, where are all of these hateful people gonna get their hair done? What are they gonna
True.
do?
Yeah.
You know? Are we just
Yeah,
gonna have a
true.
bunch of like hateful people and
Yeah.
like racists with really bad hair?
I guess with that said, you probably know this about me that I take inclusivity to
Yes.
like a kind of an extreme where of course I have a line of what I'm good with, but I'm fine like having duality with this of not totally agreeing with my clients as long as they're not being like hateful
Mm,
or because to me that's like violence. If
it
you're
is
like
good.
saying something hateful or if there's a line. But I don't need to be exactly the same as my
Mm,
clients. I'm comfortable with people being in like a different religion
yeah,
or having different political views than me, as long as they're being respectful
when they're with
of like
you.
my views
Yeah,
too. Yeah, there's a line
yeah.
for it, but I do think that, yeah, it's tricky.
It is
It's
so
tricky to
tricky, and,
call it that.
like, I didn't know early on that I was allowed to make a different choice. I thought that I
Yeah,
was
you are. Yeah.
required, but yeah, I would tell
Yeah.
anyone incoming is you are actually allowed to decide. Well,
Yeah.
you can choose if that's not for you personally, and maybe that
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, maybe that's not you condemning that person on a personal level. Maybe it's something that,
No.
you're not connected to or you can't interface with. Like for me, I tell a lot of people, like, I have certain standards for myself because of I have a lot
Mm.
of trauma. You know,
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
certain hairstylists that they won't do men's cuts. They have trauma with men,
Yeah.
so they won't see men.
Totally.
But I like your perspective too of inclusivity is a two-way street if you're really taking it, if you're really stretching it to its real definition, and that is
Yeah. But there's
hard to
times that
do.
I feel challenged as hell with that.
I had a lot of fear and scarcity around starting to be more loud about that. A lot of that had to do with me developing into who I was and claiming my identity and things like that as like more of like a
Yeah.
queer fluid person, like saying that out loud,
Mm.
like what makes me feel
Yeah.
safe and learning all that. What I found
Totally.
was that for me, I felt like it was a binary of how can I say that I offer truly safe space. And a lot of this was born
Mm.
of me having multiple people working in my space, me having myself and my husband and multiple employees sometimes. How can I say I'm creating safe space where this person is there to have a safe experience and the person next to them is diametrically opposed to their safety?
Right.
So that
Yeah.
like the physicality of safe space really is what pushed me into it
Mm.
being in that category of being like, "No," which I don't think is right for
Yeah.
everyone. I think everyone has to make
Yeah.
their own choice for their business and how they
Yeah.
run, and what's interesting is that I had a lot of scarcity and fear surrounding that of, "Am I shooting myself in the foot? This is really not a good thing to do from a business perspective." But I thought what happened would be this, like, sucking motion, this, like, void of people. I instead had a flood of people that came in and said, "I have not felt like I could go somewhere where I felt like someone really protected that." And so
Ooh,
I had
love
this huge
that.
flood of
Ooh.
trans individuals and queer individuals and artists and creatives and alternative folks,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Wow." I instead of having that
Mm.
void, it doubled back on itself and just and now I find that I'm
Mm.
spending my time with people that I genuinely connect with of
But
me.
if it's also too, you're also have to think, okay, you're touching people's hair. That's super personal. I feel almost like might be a little comfier than somewhere that's like
Yeah.
really not agreeing with the person.
Growing into my own of being like, I am allowed to choose what's comfortable for me.
Yeah, you
That's
are.
big.
Because it's like I don't agree with everything that my clients agree, like that believe
I
in. Like
know.
I should say any, I think if I could pick any person out of my whole client base, I would say everybody I'm going to disagree with a little bit.
For sure.
I think now is a time where I can really think about that of okay, like what do I feel comfortable
Yeah.
with? Sometimes I don't feel comfortable with things and I get to know somebody, I'm like, ooh, a little
Ooh.
too like far in the other direction.
Yeah.
I want to take like more physical action. Like I want to go somewhere and be like walking in the street somewhere because I think
Yeah.
that's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
I think that's where my voice gets a little louder is
Mm.
not in a digital space. Like
Yeah.
I've done some like more like riot aid. So
Good.
like bringing water and snacks and that kind of thing. And when shit gets like scary is when I feel more comfortable being out and doing things as, oh yeah, I know how to use a leaf blower
Yeah.
and I know to bring baking soda and water. I've dealt with tear gas in people's eyes. So that kind of stuff. I get into this awesome little panic mode where I'm like, I can just run around the back and help people.
Then
And that's
that's your
helpful.
purpose.
I
Seriously.
feel that feels really good.
Good.
Yeah. I've had some very open conversations with people because it's okay, fully private studio. I can talk about whatever I want and I can pick people's brain and be like, okay, where are we coming from here?
Yeah, of course.
But I have noticed people changing. There has been some change of tune too. I would say a good percentage of people that I know how they voted and they're like not feeling super great about how things are looking now.
Oh, really?
So,
I'm so
yeah.
glad you're
Oh,
having
yeah.
those conversations. That's awesome.
Yeah. I think sometimes, oh, we're gonna make the beans a little tighter, like just a little tighter.
Shit, you are
Yeah,
cracking me
that
up right
probably
now.
happens. To be honest, if your maintenance hurts, there's probably a reason.
That's freaking hilarious, dude. The
Yeah.
next few months and years in the hair industry are going to be very interesting, though. Cool. So, in terms of the lock industry, if you could change anything, what would you
Yeah.
change? If you had a magic wand to fix our little young budding industry,
Oh
what would you
man.
change?
Oh, that's a hard question. I love that. I love like the hard questions. I'm I think I'm looking forward to the inevitable, to be honest. I think that if I could change anything, I would fast forward it and from into 10 years from now. Like I'm looking forward
Me
to
too.
the trajectory. I cannot wait until it turns into a preteen, you know,
No.
and becomes I'm seeing it become more acceptable in different types of careers. I just had a park ranger in my
Hmm.
chair the other day. It's, oh, you have a state job and you have this kind of hair. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Like that. Now there's state jobs that are cool
Yeah.
with whatever kind of hair people want. And that's what I'm looking forward to is
Mm.
like the change of our world. Lots changed.
Oh my gosh.
In like 20 years, a lot's
Wow,
changed.
so
So
much has changed.
yeah.
So just imagine 5 years even is a long time. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
And then I think it's also very interesting to be on this side of things and to maybe be an agent of change of those things. What do you want to see? And then you're
Mm,
coming around, okay, who's going to do that?
yeah.
And I remember the lady that
Yeah.
signed me, my original
Yeah.
license lady, Kyra, shout out to Kyra. She was like, "Oh, it's you have to do it." And I
Yeah.
was
That's
like, "No,
freaky.
no. Some other guy is coming along that and she was like, "No, you have to do it."
Yeah, wrapping my head around that scares me because I don't think I'm in that position, but maybe I am too. I don't see myself as like an educator ever, but I do think to some level, it's okay, like my work looks a certain way. And I think that
Definitely.
like trends kind of start from that. Like I think that you can have a trajectory of trend.
On a more personal level, you seem to maintain really wonderful and awareness and like energetic hygiene. Where did you get
Mm,
that from? What experiences in your life is
yeah,
that born out of? Is that born out of like your personal beliefs or experiences you've had? Do you please
I'd say
bottle this and mail it
experiences.
to me? That would be
Yeah.
great.
Meditation, lots of
Okay.
meditation, like every day, like being diligent on your practice with that, literally every morning. Yeah. And yeah, lots of reading about that. I think that's like because my personal belief structure and whatever that is, that changes from week to week
Same.
almost, like of what my background is. Like I'm a mishmash of so many things. And sometimes I'm here and sometimes I'm there. So like I don't have a identity when it comes to
Good.
that. I like that to be moving. But the constant is definitely being in my body and yeah, connecting like deeper because yeah, when you're I don't know, I think that when you have a strong meditation practice and are able to come back to that, like it shows, I think, in your focus and in your
Mm.
work, at least for me.
When
So
did you
yeah.
start developing that and cultivating that?
I was like in a lot of pain. I had a really bad injury. I was not like a spiritual person at all. I wasn't raised like that. And I tore my labrum in my hip
Oh my
and
God.
racing bikes. And I couldn't like really walk. I was like in a crazy amount of pain. My insurance wouldn't cover the surgery. I was like racing. And
Were you a kid or
so
were you an adult?
no, an adult. So I was racing bikes. I was like training to do criteriums. And I tore it from just having not enough like upper body strength and like too much leg strength. And I just didn't have, I had trainers that were pushing me and I was looking really promising, and then injury, career gone. And I could really
Don't you
only
love that?
work on hair like super part-time. And yeah, so I needed something beyond myself. Like I needed to find something to like latch onto, and without having a person or religion, or like I have my family, but I didn't feel like I could lean on them at that level. I found meditation in
It's
the
amazing.
space of extreme pain.
Yeah. Who was your first entry point teacher to meditation? You just take more of like a general approach.
Actually, so I went to a yoga teacher training. I had a client that he inspired me. Like he changed his life, and he was a haircut client. So actually, like I was doing a fade on him like every couple weeks, and he was like very rigid person. He's one of those people that they'd feel their haircut to make sure it's all even. And
Gotcha.
he had a button down shirt, and he would always shake my hand. And
Gotcha.
he came back from this school and he wanted to shave his head, and he had a t-shirt on. And he gave me a hug afterwards. Who are you?
And what have you done with my client?
Yeah, and I don't think I needed what he got out of that, but I think I needed something. And I think these kind of practices meet you where you're at.
Absolutely.
Like you have to meet your internal teacher, and
100%.
mine was waiting for me there. I went to India for 2 months and did like my first yoga teacher training, and got really into like breath work and like pranayama and kriya. So some of very like visualization and breath work based like meditation practices. And then recently so I've been practicing that for around 10 years, which has really helped like my connection with the world and just clients in general. But so recently I went to Vipassana Center, and I stayed there for 10 days. And I would say Vipassana is like the best. Like it's free, first off.
Yeah.
And there are centers everywhere. I don't know if you know anybody that's been to those before, but that changed my life.
Yeah.
Like I'm just doing a Vipassana meditation now, and I think they're both great tools, but I feel like I'm hitting a different
stride.
Now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And so you credit
not
that
easy
as
though.
Right. You credit that as your core.
I like to stay really open, especially when it comes to spirituality, because like I'll experience something. Like I have things that I've experienced that go completely against my non-belief structure, is like how I like to put it. And I'm like, wow, okay. Like I don't really know at this point. I'm still digesting the Vipassana experience at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you do figure that out, we could do a special segment on that. You could talk about that more when you feel like you fully digested it, because I know that's a lot.
It's heavy. It's a heavy one for sure. I think anybody that's gone through it.
There are weird things that you and I have in common that people don't know. What were some of the things early on that you and I were noticing? Like you have your ears tattooed.
We have some strange things.
I have my ears
Our tattoos
that nobody else.
We both have blacked out ears. We both have rabbit tattoos. I think on your
Mine's
arm?
on my back and my arm. Yeah.
Back and your arm. Okay. So I have rabbits on my arm. I think something on your back is like rabbits? Very similar to mine too. Why do I have rabbits? Oh, it's from my childhood.
I'd be like, I don't know how to answer that.
Oh, yeah. It's from my childhood. When I was a kid, like I had the stuffed rabbit. That kind of comes from that.
Stop it. You're to me right now.
No. Do you have a stuffed rabbit too?
Dude, get out of my brain. Like,
really?
Growing up, my best friend was my stuffed rabbit, and he was gray. Oh, yeah. I don't know what color yours was. Mine was gray. White. And I couldn't tell if he was a bunny or a dog, so I called him Bunny Dog.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I called my bunny like it was Bunny.
That's weird.
Weird. That's weird.
Yeah, so rabbits.
Yeah, there's things. And we're also both Capricorns.
That's right.
We have a couple tattoos that are similar. I can't remember which ones they are, but every time we find one, we're not surprised.
It's weird. How long have you been getting tattooed?
It was 27 when I got my first one. So what is that? 12 years?
Okay, so you're packing it in.
Not long.
You're really going.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was pretty much like every month or every other month that whole time.
Same.
And I've stopped. Like I pretty much have stopped. I got a matching tattoo with Thomas on our honeymoon in Japan, which was a really interesting experience actually. We had to sign like a waiver that said that it's not gang affiliated, it's not like Yakuza.
That's
I've never
right,
signed anything like
because
that
that's
before.
they're still behind. Okay, right.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, so that was interesting.
I think it harkens back to what you were saying of the work that you do, and for me,
Yeah.
that's a huge energetic hygiene thing for me is who's doing that on me and
Mm.
what am I getting and what am I focusing on, and it's a way of digesting my
Oh,
experiences.
so you had a connection with the artist that was working on you too, like
Sometimes I feel like early on when I was younger,
okay,
obviously, because I started getting tattooed at 17 now. But,
yeah.
like, when I moved into larger session work and, like, really, like, my own spiritual
Mhm.
journey and everything we were talking about, that's when I started taking that more seriously. So now
Oh,
I get
see,
tattooed.
it's the opposite for
Oh,
me.
really?
Totally
Okay,
opposite, yeah.
interesting. That's so fascinating.
Like, in the beginning, I really cared about who the person was, like, what are they spending this money on, like, their lifestyle. I want them to be a certain kinda, like,
Wow.
type of person, and then it all slowly went out the window, and then I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna separate the artist from the art, and I'm just going to this person for their art."
For their
And,
art.
like, it's sometimes really cool, like, sometimes they're still great people, but it's like I don't actually know them as people.
I love
Yeah.
you touched on separating art from artist. I'm a huge separate art from artist person. I know people don't always
Mm.
agree with that, but how are we gonna live on this
Yeah.
planet if we don't
True, true,
separate?
and yeah, and it's okay, like, art is a reflection of that person's consciousness at that
For
time.
sure.
So you do have to acknowledge that.
For me, I feel like once an artist has executed that, it has left them. It no longer belongs to them, and it belongs to the
Oh,
whole.
yeah.
And I think we can say that
Yeah.
about anything, and I'm all people would probably call me, like, super woke or something if they wanted to offend me or something, whatever, but it's I
Same.
don't know. But also, like, at the same time, I'm not someone like, if music, for instance, meant something to me and then I found out that they did a crime, this is not a popular opinion, but it's just how I is that what I
Yeah.
valued from them after it has left them and took on that greater life, it no longer belongs to them.
Mm.
It's not part of them. A lot of it has to do with my view of creativity and inspiration. I feel like infinity is a river that lives above us and outside of us. It's a
Mm.
part or like a bindi, if you will, of the all that is that we can
Mm.
take these particulates from, but as a whole does not belong to us. So if
Yeah,
you're creative and
because it
you're
comes
yeah,
through
it
us.
comes through
Because
us.
it's not attachment to it. Like, I
Exactly.
think that's the attachment is ego. Like, when you're, like,
Mhm.
looking at a thing and being like, "I did that."
Yeah.
That's your ego mind, but if you're able to detach and be like, "Oh," like, you can tell when you're drawing. It's I don't know if you've had this experience, but I have good days and bad days where I pick up a pen and I start drawing and I'm like, "That was shit.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Same.
it's not coming through today.
Yeah.
Cool." And I think it's literally like you have moments where you can tap in and there's moments that you can't.
Absolutely. When you learn to move with that instead of forcing it, I'm a huge separate the art from the artist person. And that's a vulnerable thing to say as an artist because when I
Mm.
feel that my art is less powerful.
Oh, yeah.
When I step
Wow.
back and I know that I was able to drop myself out and say I'm
Yeah.
saying whatever was supposed to be said through me, so much better.
Yeah.
And it speaks
Yeah.
to a wider range of people and I would hope that if I as a fallible human ever do something that my art, which is this sacred entity out of me,
Yeah.
would not be affected by that. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
didn't do that, but it's its own thing. So I'm a big separate art from the artist person, but not everyone agrees with that.
No. Yeah.
It's a hot take for a
Yeah.
lot of
It's very
people.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It is. Well, we're allowed our opinions, damn it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, yeah, and I think like personal growth is also non-linear too. It's okay. Like, we don't know like where that one person is at any given time. I have friends that I admire. Like, I have the people that I surround myself with that I look at where they're at in their world and wow, I really aspire to be similar to some of my friends. I think that sometimes like personal growth can look so linear from the outside perspective of okay, like sometimes I look at this friend and I'm like, oh, I'm just putting that person on a pedestal and I
Mm,
see their like personal growth is this beautiful, linear, graceful thing. And it's, oh no, that's not the reality of what they're actually
right.
experiencing. Internally, it's like a ball of thread that's been knotted up and like you
Mm.
just have to slowly unwind it and it's going to knot back together. And yeah,
Well, and with
the,
social media, we're able to just curate the highlights and
yeah.
we're talking about creativity and like human growth and all these things
Mm.
is that
Mm.
creativity, like I said, is this river that if an idea comes to you, have the free will to reach up and grab it. But if you, it's okay because it's going to go to somebody
Yeah.
else. something that can hook back to what we were talking about, the industry and all the key things that can go on, is that sometimes I have to create peace within myself that an idea will come my way. And if I don't snag it, instead of having that anxiety and contraction, I can be like, somebody else is going to scoop that up. And that's okay.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
So that's just another like little consciousness bit that I think ties in.
I think in like our industry, like I don't feel like I need to be on the top of anything. Like I don't see myself, that's not important to me, of leading the pack in any type of way. Like I don't need to like start a trend or having my own branding is nice, but it's not that important to me. I think the more deeper connection with clients, and I just want to like work on the same people for forever. I could see myself in 10 years, who knows, getting rid of Instagram and just having my people and being like, bye. That could happen.
I think
very easily.
Yeah, you can do that at any time.
I'm studying entomology a little bit, so I'm learning to pin butterflies as well and like moths, but I really want to focus on like indigenous moths and getting them from more ethical sources that are local, and possibly working on conservation of moths, because here like there's Luna moths are indigenous to Appalachia.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm working on that a little bit right now, learning more traditional methods of how to do that. But I don't know at what level I'm interested in that. For right now, it's just like a hobby.
Well, and you're like me, like it sounds like you flow a lot through different things as they call to you, and you're always learning something. That's how I am. I just go from hyperfixation to hyperfixation. Wow.
So
one thing I want you to ask about, if you're willing to talk about it real quick, in terms of creativity, consciousness, spirituality, all these things, is can you tell listeners really quick about your pilgrimage that you did? Because I remember hooking up with you.
The Camino.
Yeah, about when you finished that is when I met you.
Is that when we started talking?
I think
was when I was out on the trail.
I was like, she's doing cool shit, and I want to know about this.
Yeah.
So what was that, and where did you go?
So I hiked the Camino de Santiago. So I started in the Puy-en-Velay, which is in France, and then all the way to Santiago. So I hiked 1,100 miles.
That's crazy.
And took me like 2.5 months because I took my time, because I just walked and stopped as much as I wanted to. And yeah, it was really powerful. I think there was some people in my life that were like, oh, you're doing a Catholic thing. That's cool. Are you that now? And it's no, I like nature and I like hiking. I do think that there's this like really interesting, I have some interesting viewpoints of the Camino that are maybe a little bit controversial. Like I do believe that it's older than what people say it is. Because, okay, like I did see a crypt, and it's okay, that's where the first martyred apostle is. That's where people are walking to. Yeah, so there's a decapitated body at the end in reality, but like, why did they choose? That's not where he was murdered. So, okay, why would you take this like body all the way to this spot in Spain? Like they went down the Mediterranean. The reality is that that body had to move. That's not where that happened. So why did they choose this place? And to me, I start thinking about, okay, it's called the Field of Stars. It's Santiago de Compostela. So I think Compostela. So Stella, okay, like we are the composting thing, and we're meeting where the stars are at. And when I got to the very end, it was like this crazy, like weird vortex feeling. And I have so many opinions on what this is.
Yes, I think I would agree with you on those opinions. Yes.
Yeah, I think maybe a vortex.
Okay.
And maybe the Earth has like these spots around that maybe have some magnetic pull, because I was planning on staying there for maybe 2 days, maybe 3. I had seen some pictures of people like laying down in front of the cathedral, and I was like, oh, maybe those are like tired pilgrims. Like, no, those are people like sinking into that feeling. Like it feels heavy there. And I stayed for a week and not 2 days. And I spent hours laying on it because it was like, I felt dizzy, and I felt
heard that,
I felt like the room was spinning, and I'm like, okay, I need to sit down at least. And like a lot of times lay down. And the moment that I left, I felt sick. Like I left town and I was sick for 3 days. So there's something that we can't explain.
Yeah, that we can't explain, that's much more ancient, something that humans have been interacting with from all faith walks back to indigenous people and modern religions. And I think that's the real true crux of it.
Yeah, it could be exacerbated by all of the people coming to that
Sure.
one place and bringing their expectations and their stories and
Like,
whatever.
is it a rut that's being,
Uh,
you know?
Possibly, yeah. Like it maybe that feeling becoming more extreme because of that. I do believe that. And there was some information along the way. This is not only my opinion. Like there's pilgrims on the way, like giving these little tidbits of information. I had this man that was like, "Oh, think about the name of it. What is this called?" It's okay. Yes, there's history here, and there's like a body. That's a fact, but there's something else that's deeper
Right,
there. And you have to look at the Crusades. Okay, this
right.
during the Crusades, this was the only land that was not, it was protected. It was not like
Mm,
acceptable to go kill a pilgrim. Like you want to
right.
convert the pilgrim because it's okay, of course, the ones that are walking and the ones that are really like into
So there's
this,
a
it's okay.
provenance, safety, and sanctuary
And you
imbued in
feel
the land.
that.
Okay.
Yes, and you feel that when you're on physically on the trail, like it's like this is dirt that has not seen violence. This is
Oh,
land that's not seen
that's
violence.
incredible.
Yeah, it's you feel it like for sure because we feel it. I mean, it's violence is everywhere
Yeah.
except for this place.
That's amazing. And I know there's a lot of
Yeah.
places around the earth like that, even if they're not coming
Yeah.
at it from whatever angle anyone comes at it from. It's like that all over the world. And I am a sciencey gal, so I love when data and measurement catches up and like corroborates that. When
Right.
science corroborates
Yeah, there
spirituality, I
is.
love that.
Yeah, there's some reasoning to that, I think. I think when you dive a little deeper and you're not afraid to like question things, I think that there's a lot can be uncovered. That's pretty
Well, like they
awesome.
say, the mark, I forget who it is that said it, the mark of an intelligent mind is one that can entertain an idea without accepting it. Who said that?
Yeah. Ooh.
Da
Mm.
Vinci, Michelangelo, somebody, one of those guys said that.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I definitely think there's a
Mhm.
lot more like ancient, like electromagnetic elements to us as humans and spirits and
Yeah,
consciousness that
I think so.
there's a lot more that we don't understand about interfacing with the earth and different parts of the earth. And there's so many angles, like
Yeah.
the ritual and just a pilgrimage alone. I think a pilgrimage can be so many things.
And I felt that coming through me too. I saw a man that was like sitting just crying on the side of the Camino. And I'm like, I saw so much of myself in him. And I was like, we didn't speak, he spoke French. I don't speak any French. And I just opened my arms to him and he just
Oh,
gave me a hug. And when we came back to the albergue the next day, I ran into him and he had on his translation thing. He's like, "Oh, you." And he stood to do it. It's like, "How did you know?"
oh my gosh.
And I was like, wow. Yeah, it's like I didn't. It just came
It's
through.
amazing. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. And
Yeah, there's some
I feel like pilgrimage is such a powerful human behavior that we've been doing for so
yeah,
long.
it
So I'm so
is.
glad that you really did that. And that's amazing.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to have so much meaning. Like it doesn't have to I think I just needed something and I have to saw the opportunity and it was after COVID and I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I think this is like my one little window of opportunity to go.
It's a
And I took
great
it.
palate cleanser
Yeah.
after COVID. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So
Interesting. And I think people can
mm.
find that. I think you can find pilgrimage in so many different ways in your life.
The internal world is vast. It's you really diving deeper into your internal world. Like you don't need to go on the external world to experience that.
Yeah.
But there was towards the end there, it was really sad because there was definitely people carrying people
Oh,
because they believed that this was a place of healing and this was like their last kind of straw. There was a man carrying his daughter. That was like, wow,
ugh.
like that's like a sick child. So there's heartbreaking
Yeah.
stuff out there as
And
well.
again,
But
a ritual that we've been doing as human beings for a long time.
yeah, yeah, the
It's
human stuff
amazing.
is really good. I want more of it. I just don't know where it's gonna fit into my world.